One of the most important things about our existence is the beauty of being able to coexist with nature. That is including the trees and the animals and everything else. And therefore the reason we need to start talking about conservation efforts is because we need to start making sure that whatever we have now, we are able to take care of it so that it can be able to benefit us in a long run.
It contributes to the economy. It creates jobs, and it contributes to the recreation, entertainment, so people get the opportunity to explore. And for other countries, they get the opportunity to come and see how beautiful it is, which is good for us and for our economy.
It's something that has so much potential to provide livelihoods, to provide economic growth, to provide employment. And if we don't protect that nature now, it could destroy the potential of that nature in the future.
What conservation is about is harmonizing wildlife, biodiversity and communities so that everyone and everything is able to thrive.
We should conserve nature because nature conserves us.
The Youth Conservation Program is a program that is aimed at mobilizing young people around conservation, particularly those that are living around protected areas and are previously disadvantaged. At the same time, we really hope to highlight some of the career and education possibilities that are available within the biodiversity economy.
We just put them regardless of their categories.
No, I'll put the birds with the birds and the mammals with the mammals and the insects with the insects.
What we've had to consider when designing the training is, most importantly for our facilitators, that it was very important that they had background of some sort and that they were aware of what we are talking about and that they understand at least the basics of what conservation is about. But what we've had to consider is the fact that they need to go out into their communities and be the champions of the program. So in better equipping them in that regard, we've held sessions with them on how to become a great facilitator. How do you interact with your participants? What are the do's and don'ts of facilitating some of our workshops?
We tend to do things the way we feel comfortable, and as trainers what we often do is if we feel comfortable in using a particular method, then we use that even if our participants don't feel comfortable using that method. So what I want you to know is I want you to know where your bias is.
There were a couple of elements that we really focused on for the manual. We realized that a lot of the participants would have very little idea of biodiversity or what conservation. So a lot of it is creating awareness about that, just educating from a base level on what biodiversity is. And then there were a couple of other things that we really wanted to touch on. So the fact that conservation is really an intrinsic part of a lot of South African cultures, and that was a very important thing for us to stress. We wanted to highlight some of the conservation efforts that are done by the Department of Environmental Affairs in South Africa. One of the most important things for us was educating on the career and education possibilities in the biodiversity economy.
So you can set it up like this, right? And you've got your ecosystem, you've got your plants, you've got your insects, you've got birds, you've got mammals, you've got your different groups, and each block represents a species within that ecosystem. So then you can play a game. Okay, come, let's play. Who wants to go first? Yeah? Nice, okay. So why did that mammal go extinct?
The carnivores are eating them a lot, and people are hunting them on top of that. So the pressure is on, as you can see, it's closer to the...
Okay. What really seems to work best in programs like these is to make the material very interactive and to get both the trainers and the participants to get a feel for that material and make things very visual, so that even if they don't necessarily understand the language, they can still understand the substance of what's being taught.
And they just poached the last rhino.
I think what I look for in a trainer is someone that is really passionate and that can really make the content come alive. You know, you can give them the recipe of the things to teach, but it's really up to them to make that recipe taste good, you know, to make it, to give it some flavor. So you need people that firstly can understand the content reasonably well. They don't have to be experts, but they need to at least have some level of understanding. But really they need to be passionate about what they are trying to train.
The reason why I am here at this course is because I love nature. I love my career. I love what I do. And I enjoy telling people about conservation. Being here, it's a privilege, and it will give me more opportunity to continue and do what I love and express the message about the nature conservation and environment.
I'm hoping that whatever that we've been trained here, it will be easy to implement to other people. And in the future, I want to be able to stand up and be proud to other people that I've took a part into saving whatever that the conservation is concerned.
The pilot kicked off with participants from communities around Pilanesberg Game Reserve in Northwest, Andover Park in Mpumalanga, and Makuya Nature Reserve in Limpopo.
Every time when I throw this thing to you, you've got 2 seconds to say any species that you can find in the wild. Any. And if you repeat the species, I've got the surprise for you. 2 seconds, guys. Elephant. Pig.
Hyena.
Hyena. Out.
le tlhalogantsa kere le kgone bona gore we have different kinds of animals e leng gore di teng mo South Africa, but they live on different ecosystems. Go na le phologolo e leng gore e ka phela ko savana gape ya kgone go phela gape ko deserteng akere. Example keng?
I wasn't aware about animals, how important they are, until I came to this program about nature, how ecosystem is.
My highlight for the program is about the ecosystem, because each and every time I'm learning a new thing about the ecosystem. Like today, I've learned that we've got different types of ecosystem, which are savannas, forest, Kalahari, and mountains and marine. I didn't know much about them. Yes, I've learned them about them in school, but seriously, I didn't know much about them and how important they play that role to us.
Okay, I'll put it down like this.
Highlight yaka nearly the Django. Yeah. When we played the Django and the ball represented people inside an ecosystem. I learned that each time when we remove a species from an ecosystem, the ecosystem becomes weak and it falls.
Ecosystem it fault, it failed. So the reason why is because of what? Who can tell me?
Because some of the species were removed from the ecosystem.
They're really careless towards them, especially the plants. So I start to produce a careless baga. There are certain animals to treat young, certain plants to treat young.
I really hope that I'll do animal health, then I'd like to work in the Pilanesberg because it's much closer to home. Then I'll be giving back to my own community.
My hope for this future is because is that I want youth, not youth, but everyone to love animals and protect animals.
Okay, I'm Lomo Nhlengobeni, a trainer or facilitator here at Mpumalanga. I'm the one who is busy facilitating this program here at Mpumalanga.
Round 1 community in the community wait itatekane isala namsinya ingaki isala na 4 laka 4 lenga sala na yo itlejala 5. Round 2 community number 2 ayitateka singona community number 1 itlejiteka isala na ingaki.
In this game, we added things like an ecosystem would grow back, but we also removed things, so villages removing firewood. And as we went through the years, we saw that villages were removing more and more, but the ecosystem was still only replenishing at the same rate. And slowly we saw that we were being sustainable and the ecosystem was still growing. And then at some point it turned around and it started to shrink and shrink and shrink until in the very last round, the villages removed all of the species and there was nothing left.
Training of trainers have helped me to facilitate this program because in my previous facilitations I was doing I was doing more theory than practicals. So from there at the training they've taught me that in facilitating something it doesn't mean that I have to do only theory, I also have to do practical, and when they are doing those practicals I think they understand it much better than theory.
It is good to go practical than theory. Because it's more simple of everyone, it's physical, and each and everyone will participate.
Program loko na sungula ku ta answinyajile ngopfu loko nta kuma iform leyi va nga nyika yo answinyaje ngopfu manje loko senta sungula ka session ya kusungula ni dyondza na ku yiva mahlweni ka vanhu ni vulavula na enjoy vele nga ku nga ka yi nga heli ya mahlweni na yo kota ku vulavula hi tsakisa vanhu swa nandzika.
Hapa noni ri Makuya Nature Reserve. Makuya Nature Reserve I share border na Kruger National Park. Ri khou rana session yashu ya vuna. Session ine ya vhidzwa uri ndi park visit. Hapa noni ri khou ṱoḓa u sumbedzisa dzi participants dza vhorine uri asi game ranger fhedzi kana asi park asi reserve manager fhedzi ane a wanala hafha noni ane ita uri park ivhe yo tsireledzea nahone zwipuka zwine zwa vha nga ngomu zwi vhe zwo tsireledzea. Hu ḓivha vhona vhathu vha admin vhane vha ḓivha vha khou shuma hafha noni, ha ḓivha vho futhi na vhathu vhane vha vha dzi environmental monitor vhane vha ḓivha vha tshi khou shuma hafha noni, ha vha na dzi researcher dzine dza vha dzi tshi khou shuma hafha noni.
Zwipuka ramba na miri na zwiṅwe na zwiṅwe zwi sa tshiliho zwi no nga landscape na mini na mini. Hezwo zwithu uri zwi londoliwe ni mafhungo uri ḓuvha na ḓuvha ḽi tshi tsha hu ya vha na vhathu vha no bva vha tshi ya patrolo vha tshi khou lavhelesa uri zwithu zwi zwo dzula nga ngonana.
Nṋe ndi khou nyaga u tou vhudzisa hafha uri musi vha nga ngomu hanefha nga ngomu phakhani a hu na zwipuka zwine zwa vha dina musi vha tshi khou tshimbilana.
Mara dzi ḓivha hone dzi ndau, dzi ḓivha hone dzi ṋari, dzi ḓivha hone dzi nḓuhu, mara hezwi zwipuka zwoṱhe zwi sala zwi tshi dina zwo tou diniwa.
The park visit's main aim is to get the young people who are participants of the program to go and experience what it is like being in a game reserve, but most importantly to get an opportunity to engage with some of the people that work in these reserves so that they get a better or practical understanding of what happens around them.
Ri tshi fhedza hafho futhi ri ḓo vha na game drive ine dzi participants dzashu ri ḓo dzi dzhia dzi ḓo vha dzi tshi khou mona na park hafhanoni dzi tshi khou vhonawo zwine zwa vha nga ngomu ha park. Vha nga vha tshi dzula nnḓa ha park vha sa ḓivhi zwo ri hu khou itea mini, ri khou vha fha experience tsho ri vha vhonevo zwine zwa vha zwi tshi khou itea uri vha kone u tsireledza mupo une vha u ḓivha.
Zwine apalani asikale kale dzadzinga ngeno zvino dzingowetera seri
namusi ndo guda nga game drive ye yantakadza nga maanḓa ye ra jigajiga na sun park ya Makuya. Ro mona ra ḓisedza na zwipuka zwo fhambananaho u fana na wathaba kana buffalo dze ra vha ri tshi khou funḓedzwa nga hadzo nga manager wa vhurenedzi.
Namusi nne ndo takadziwa nga uri ndo ḓivha uri vhathu vhane vha khou shuma fhano hu vha hu tshi khou ṱoḓea muthu ane o ita environmental science, a dovha a ita na maths, a ita na biology ine zwa zwino i vhidzwa pfi life science, uri a kone u ḓiwana a tshi khou shuma fhano.
Ndo wana uri hu na mushumo wa reserve manager, hu na mushumo wa environmental monitor, hu na mushumo wa admin, hu na mushumo wa vhurenja.
Ngauri arali ndi khou shuma fhano ndi ranger, zwi amba zwori na kha community yanga ndi ḓo gudisa vhathu vha lushaka lwanga uri hetshinoni a tshi itiwe, hetshinoni a tshi itiwe.
Today, Remo Muguleng community under Bakhatla Bakhafela, we are at Mpeba Museum, where we'll be concluding our program under Youth Conservation Program. So today is the last day where we'll be having a bioscope evening, wrapping up what we did on this program.
We then have bioscope evenings towards the end of the program, and this is really our way of educating through entertainment, because what's really important for us is that this act of creating awareness happens on different platforms and through different forms, so that the program as a whole is dynamic. So it's also a really great opportunity, because we open it up to more of the community. It's a great opportunity for the participants to show some of the other community members what they've been up to.
We have to conserve our resources because they make our planet what it is, and each and every continent has its own diverse culture of animals and plants in its ecosystem. The future generation has to see all these things and not read about them in the book.
And blue represents water, and pink represents animals, and green represents plants, and white represents people. It
comes natural to and fro again overnight.
Ecosystem ya tlhokana le rona re le batho re tlhoka nature, and le nature ya re tlhoka gore re tlhokomele. So rona as conservers re bone botlhokwa ba gore re tshware nature rona sentle, and re ithute gape le gore dilo tse tsotlhe tse di mo lefatsheng di na le role e playang, whether se senyana or se stone.
Every year we select about 10 cats to participate in the program.
Choma patrola fence. We check out
The fence that we are patrolling here in Olifants West is 20 kilometers long. We have to patrol it each and every day.
Thank you for the family members that supporting our participants, encourage. And then I'm looking forward to the next program. So, ke a leboga batsadi, ke leboga le di participants tsa ka tse di pele tse ke di rata.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
My hopes for the program is to achieve a network of young people who are able to speak on issues of conservation, not only because it's a serious issue that everyone is talking about, but for them to be able to go out there and also for us to educate our friends and families and our communities. In fact, my hope is really for us to begin the conversation in the smallest of our villages so that we are able to sit in bigger platforms as young people with a voice regarding what we believe should be the efforts regarding conservation.
Our ambitions of maintaining South Africa's natural heritage and encouraging communities to grow their livelihoods through sustainable use is really deeply tied to the new generation of conservationists that we're aiming to inspire through this program. And that's really why it's so important.